I'm Melissa Chureau with The Fully Mindful. I'm a mindfulness, breathwork, and somatic coach, and your host for this week's shift sessions. And I'm happy to be here. I love what the shift is doing, reimagining and recreating the way we think and work in the world of well-being and mental health and making that accessible to everyone. Anyway, today I am going to be leading about a 25 to 30 minute breathwork session where we're going to be learning about different breathing patterns and how they can shift our state. So that's super awesome. Thanks, Mo, for letting us know. Thanks, Eminent 503 and New World Normal. Thanks for letting us know. And then after the 25 to 30 minutes of breathwork, I'll stay on for several minutes to answer questions and talk to the extent that you have questions. So, of course, I have to goes without saying that none of what happens tonight is medical advice. Obviously, you practice knowing what you know about yourselves, and it does not replace medical advice. But you don't need anything except your breath tonight and the ability to close your eyes. So no driving. If you're driving, pull over or just listen. Don't do the actual practice. Also, a quick shout out to Michael Malura Music, who has provided some of the music that I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be playing with the some of the breath work tonight. So really appreciate that. This is all music from the work that he did on the Heal documentary, and you should definitely check out his work when you can. So before we dive into the practice and keep seeing others joining, so welcome. Before we dive in, I just want to take a couple of minutes to talk about why breathwork works, why it's more than just a wellness or more than a wellness trend or a deep sigh at the end of the day, although that's certainly welcome. Breathwork, conscious breathwork in particular, is one of the simplest and most powerful ways to bridge the mind and the body. And it's really the quickest way to regulate our nervous systems and one of the most effective ways. So here's the skinny on the science here. Your breath is the only part of your autonomic nervous system that's the part that runs on autopilot that you can consciously control. So it's pretty cool that way, right? So when you change your breath, even slightly, you're actually sending a signal to the rest of your nervous system that you're safe, that you can settle, or that you can energize if that's what's being called for. Different breath patterns activate different parts of the nervous system. Long exhales tend to cue the parasympathetic system. That's your rest and digest state, your relaxation state, your calm state. Fast, continuous breaths tend to activate the sympathetic nervous system. Hey, Beth from Nanaimo. Sorry, I had to cut in there to say hi to my friend Beth. The sympathetic system can bring up energy, emotion, insight when done intentionally. And that's the whole key right there, is what are we doing intentionally to breathe? And when we shift between those states on purpose with intention, we build something called interoceptive awareness, right? So that's the ability to feel what's going on inside and to build the agency to access these different states. Super cool. That's the doorway to self-regulation, emotional intelligence, clarity, presence, all the good things that we're seeking. It's not magic. It might feel that way, but it's not magic. It's actually biology, intention, and awareness. So today, as we play with these different shapes, I'm going to introduce you to triangle, to circle, and to square. You're not just calming or relaxing or energizing. You're literally training your nervous system to listen, to shift, and respond differently in real time. You're building a bridge back to the body. And as Bessel van der Kolk has said, the body keeps the score. But as I like to say, it also holds the healing. So to start, I just want to say you cannot do this wrong. There are no breathwork grades. There's no breathwork police. You'll all get an A+, even with extra credit. There's no tests. You don't have to breathe in perfect counts. You don't have to get it just perfect. This is just about getting real. It's about being with your body and being honest about it. And let's be real here. We're usually all walking around like floating heads. I think it was James Joyce, who said Mr. Duffy lived a short distance from his body. We're all kind of like Mr. Duffy. So breath work helps us to get back into our body, to make that connection, that mind-body connection, and integrate those two realms together, which really truly are the same realms. We just have a tendency to overprivilege the mind. And so this is about integrating the mind through the breath. So we're going to explore 3 different shapes: triangle, circle, square. Each one creates a different effect on our body and different effect on our minds. And before we practice each one, I'll explain a little bit and then I'll demo it and then we'll dive right in. Sound good? Great. So we're just going to start really simple. We're going to breathe together like we do, pretty much every day, right? We're born with our breath. That's the last thing that we'll do in this life. So we're just going to breathe. So if you want to start, you can even though we're not going to dive right into the breath, but just to get yourself settled so that I can demonstrate some of these breathwork techniques to you, you can just settle here, wherever you are, in your bed, on a chair, on your couch, in your car, pulled over, and just getting comfortable in your body, sitting where you're sitting, and just notice your breath. So just notice how it naturally comes in and naturally leaves. No specific breath pattern, just noticing what your breath does naturally. This is called reflexive breathing. We all do it. There's an impulse, a compulsion, physical and otherwise, to breathe in and to exhale, right? So just noticing here what your body does. How does it like to breathe in? Is it in through the nose or the mouth? How does it like to exhale? Is it long? Is it short? What is it for you? Yeah. No shoulds here. Just let yourself breathe. Yeah. So to talk about triangle breath, which I also like to call the superhero cape because it's like a triangle shape, just imagine a triangle, not a geometry quiz kind of triangle. I think these are called isosceles, the skinny guys, the superhero cape. They're kind of like the little skinny guys here. So every time you breathe in, and I'm going to suggest you try breathing in through your nose, that you will breathe into one side of that triangle, right? And one side of the cape. And then when you exhale, you're going to come down the other side of the cape. And then what you'll notice is there's just an itty bitty little pause at the bottom, right? Before you get ready to inhale again up the triangle and exhale down the triangle and then just pause. This is really what your natural breath is doing here. And then you rest. So we're going to just try that here a little bit and then I'll introduce you into another shape and then we'll get into the deeper practice. So if it's comfortable for you, you might close your eyes or take a nice soft gaze. And then just take a nice slow inhale through your nose, preferably up one side of the triangle, and then exhale down the other side of the triangle. And then just notice the pause, and then inhale again, exhale again, and then notice the pause. And then inhale again, exhale again, and notice the pause. See, you're already getting an A+, and that even involves some geometry. All right. So I'd like to then show you circular breath, and then we'll dive into that practice that will bridge the triangle and the circle. So circular breath is where the magic can really happen and where we can switch it up and become a little bit more energetic, where we're diving a little bit deeper into the body. And so imagine a glowing ring of energy and it's all around you. Maybe something out of your favorite sci-fi movie, if you like sci-fi, or a fantasy movie, if that's your cup of tea. This breath moves in a continuous loop. So there's no start, there's no end. So there's no pause. There's no pause at the top. There's no pause at the bottom. And while you can breathe in through your nose and exhale through your nose, really, I always recommend that we try going more deeply if we can, if that feels reachable for you, where we're going to breathe in and out through the mouth. And so I'm going to go ahead and demo this. And the way that we will do this all in through the mouth and all out through the mouth without pausing. We're going to go deep into the belly and then into the chest and then let it go. So in a way, it'll feel like a 2-part breath, but really it's one continuous circle. Okay. So, and you should feel, I'm going to go ahead and stand up and demonstrate this for you. You should feel the breath going into your belly really strongly. So it's an inhale and then an inhale and then an exhale. So it looks like a 2-part breath, but when you put it all together, it's one circular breath. And again, if it's more comfortable for you to do that through your nose, you can certainly do that. It's just to surrender on that exhale. You don't have to push it out. You just let it go, like a big sigh. So it's like, right? Like at the end of the day. Wonderful. And you'll choose the pace and whatever is comfortable for you. So there doesn't have to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no particular count. So what I'd like to do is guide you through a little bit of a triangle practice and then a little bit of a circular practice. And then we're going to end with a square. And some of you may have done box breathing before. So that's where we inhale for 4, we hold for 4, we exhale for 4, and then we hold for 4 on the exhale. And it doesn't need to be a perfect 4, 4, 4, 4. I'll count it out for you that way, but it doesn't have to, we don't have to get caught up on that. We don't have to do this the right way. No need to introduce anxiety or pressure when we're trying to relax, because that's exactly what the box breathing does. It brings us way down. So what we're going to do is start with the triangle breathing. Then we'll go into a bit of the circular breathing, and then I'll bring you for that energy, and then I'll bring you back to the square. Okay, sound good? Everyone cool? So to that end, you should probably find yourself in a nice, comfortable position. I do recommend laying down if you're in a position that you can lay down in, and I'm going to get the music going. And hopefully we'll be able to hear it once it gets going. So go ahead and get settled. Lay down if you can, or sit calmly and supported, closing your eyes if that feels comfortable. Or perhaps just a soft gaze. We're going to go ahead and slowly inhale through the nose, up that side of the triangle, and then exhale the other side of the triangle, and then just noticing the pause at the bottom.
Let's take a quick break.
Hey everybody, this is Melissa with The Fully Mindful. Have you been curious about the power of the breath? Join me for in-person or online breathwork sessions in the new year. We have themes such as awaken, reset and manifest, love and kindness, empower and energize, and more. We'll use conscious connected breathwork for truly transformational sessions with curated music and somatic coaching. Visit the website at thefullymindful.com for detailed information on upcoming sessions. Fulfill your need for personal development and breathe into the new year with purpose and intention. See you there. So inhaling, exhaling down the other side of that triangle, and then just pausing. Let's try that a couple more, all on your own. Just inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose or the mouth, and then a pause at the bottom of the triangle. 1 or 2 more times on your own. okay. We're going to get ready to get a little bit energetic here. I'll guide you through the circular breathing. So get ready. Open the mouth. Big, deep breath into the belly, then the chest in one big circular motion, then just let it out. So it's nice, energetic breath. No pausing, just an inhale, deep into the belly, deep into the chest, and then you let it go. This is the shape of flow. One breath folding onto the next, like a wave. Letting the inhale flow right into the exhale. And letting the exhale roll right back into the inhale. Finding your own rhythm here, friends. There's no pause, no top at the top or the bottom. Just one big loop. It doesn't have to be dramatic, just a nice deep breath. You might want to put your hand on your belly, a hand on the chest so you can feel that movement. The circle has no sharp edges, friends. It invites you to soften into the energy of the breath in the body and the wisdom of the breath in the body. And as you find your rhythm here, see your breath going into every cell of your body. Lighting up every cell, every corner. You're doing great. And as you find your rhythm, your breath is going to know what it needs to clear. If there's something to clear, stress to release, an emotion to process. This is what the circular breathing is for. Don't have to think about it. Just breathe. Let your body do what it was born to do. Letting the breath dissolve any tension, any stress, anything that is just not serving you in this moment. Trusting the breath. It is there for you when you were born, and it will be there for you all the way until you pass. This kind of breath builds momentum. Sometimes energy arises, sometimes emotions arise. It's all okay. Remembering in this moment that you are safe, that we breathe to heal and we feel to heal. So if you start feeling any tingling in your fingers or maybe a lightheadedness, that's okay. You are safe. You can continue to breathe. You can always slow it down anytime you like. Remember that the way that you are doing the breath is just right. So letting the circle gather anything that might be stuck. The thoughts that you've been looping in today, the old stories your body might be storing or carrying around. And as you exhale, offering that energy to gravity. No need to push, just allowing the breath to do the work for you. You are loosening, not forcing. Keep going, friends. You're doing wonderfully. Carl Jung once said, "What we resist persists," and it's so true. So no need to resist what arises here, friends. Just letting the breath move it in and move it out. Again, open mouth if you can, into the belly, into the chest, and then just a sigh, a surrender. Just surrender. Letting go of whatever needs to be let go. You don't even need to know what it is, just letting it go. Staying with the loop. In, out. In, out. You can play with the rate, but just keep the depth. If you feel laughter bubbling up, laugh. If you feel sadness, cry. If you feel nothing, that's okay too. Just allowing what is to be as we breathe in through the mouth, into the belly, into the chest, and then just let it go. Calling in compassion with every inhale. Where does that breath lead you to? Exhale, letting go of tension and stress, anxiety, fear, whatever's been weighing on you today. Here is your moment. Knowing that the breath is not asking you to fix anything, it's offering you a pathway, a way back into you. Just allowing the breath to be. You might feel energy swirling now, maybe a little bit of tingling, a little bit of spaciousness, maybe a memory surfacing. Maybe there's a release, something coming unstuck. Maybe seeing that in your mind's eye as you exhale, letting it go. Keep breathing, friends, just a little bit more of the circular breathing. Trusting your body knows what to do. Trusting your body to move through what it needs to move through. Maybe about 1 more minute here of that circular breath, friends. So inhale into exhale. Just you and your breath. Doing so good, friends. The most courageous thing that we can do is to look inward so that we can see outward. Keep going. This is a little bit of work, but I promise you it will be worth it. Allowing the breath to move what needs to be moved, to heal what needs to heal, to release what needs to be released in this moment. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Keep going just these last few moments here, friends. Don't give up 1 minute before the miracle. And this last moment here, if you feel the need to move your body carefully. Keep breathing. And we're going to slow it down, friends. Nice and energetic. Start to slow that conscious, connected, circular breathing. Still deep, but nice and slow. Nice and slow. And now, let's move into box breathing to calm things down, to soothe our nervous systems. So we're going to breathe in through the nose, and then hold, and then exhale through the nose, and then hold, and I'll guide you through it. So inhaling through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going on your own, friends. Just inhaling for about a count of 4, and then holding for about 4, and exhaling for about 4, and then holding for about 4. Noticing the heart slowing down, the mind slowing down, and all that you did in the circular breathing is coming to a rest. Letting it soothe you. And when you're ready, just come back to our natural breath. In through the nose, up one side of the triangle, out the nose or the mouth through the other side of the triangle. And then pausing at the bottom. Just inhaling at your natural pace. And now just letting go of any and all shapes and sides and counts. And allowing your breath to return home. Maybe feeling how your body may have shifted. Even in a few moments of these breath shapes can calibrate everything. The triangle, the circle, the square, they're all maps. But you're the traveler. Your breath is the compass. Just taking a few more moments here to notice what you notice in the natural rhythm of your breath. If your eyes were closed, or you had a soft gaze, you might want to flutter them open and take a look around the space that you're in, just connecting, reconnecting with where you are in the space that you're in. Maybe taking a nice stretch, nice big breath in, and just letting go of all that you did. And I want to thank you so much for engaging in that practice, for having the courage to try something new if you've never tried that before, and to take care of you and however it was that the breath showed up for you. I'm here now. Thanks, Angie. So glad that you're here. A lot of energy running through the body. It does do that. I'd love to hear more. So if you have questions, whether it's like, what in the wide world was that tingling, or whatever else happened for you, I'd love to answer some questions and see where we go for the rest of our session today. Oh, thanks, Claret. Yeah. Anyone else get a surge of energy when you were doing the circular breath? Yeah. Thanks, Mo. That was amazing, she says, invigorating and relaxing. Yes, that is the point. Thank you, Beth. Yeah. And a lot of questions that come up, if you're ones having them, is what was that tingling? Some people get it right away with the circular breath. Sometimes it takes a little bit. I lead sessions that are generally about 45 minutes to an hour with about 45 minutes of that circular breathing. Can cause a little tingling. It's called tetany. It's super normal. It goes away. So that may be what you experienced. Somebody says, I got a lot of anxiety in the beginning and wanted to stop. At the end, it was great. And thank you so much for sharing that very vulnerable and candid description. And I think that is the point in some senses of the practice, not to cause anxiety, but to demonstrate that you have agency with your breath, right? That you can go from a certain base level. You can go to a stress level. We call it negative practice, is what circular breathing is. And then you can re-regulate yourself. So if you can do that in a breathwork session, a breathwork practice, you can do that in your life too, right? We become more practiced and skilled at dealing with different emotions and being able to regulate ourselves. Yeah. Patty says, my go-to is eyes welling up. Me too. I get a lot of that and a lot of release. And the good news is at least with the circular breathing and with anything else, we don't necessarily need to know what it is, although a lot of times we do get a lot of insight. But we also just don't even necessarily need to know, right? So you may notice some emotions coming up or maybe some insights over these next few days. So pay attention to that. Maybe journal about it if you're a journaling type of person. Julie said she just moved into deep relaxation immediately when we started box breathing. The contrast allowed for relaxation. Yeah, the contrast can be pretty stark, especially in some of the longer sessions. You can really notice the difference. And Beth, thank you. You said you were able to really settle into your body and out of your head. Yeah, again, that's the point. So I really appreciate that. And some people will ask, what if I feel lightheaded or emotional? And again, that's totally normal. Your system is perhaps releasing something that just needs to be released. I often say we're kind of like pressure cookers, we live our lives and the pressure builds, and we just need to release sometimes, right? And this is one way for us to do that with different types of breathing. And it can be a sort of meditation for some of us with more active brains. I am a person with ADHD. I have a super active brain, and I find that breathwork can really get me focused, and I can really settle in for the long haul with breathwork in a way that sometimes meditation can be more challenging. I do both, but and I think they complement one another very well. So, yeah. Some people might be asking what breath shape is best for anxiety or panic. I'm going to say triangle or square. So those are the simplest ones. So remember, triangle is the one where you just breathe up through one side, down the other, and then pause at the bottom. The box breathing is even more effective. And the reason for that is because of the longer exhale. You don't need, and if you want, you can even lengthen the exhale even longer, but it's a real equilibrium and equanimity piece. So if you're looking to calm down, that's really one of the best ways. But if you don't have time or you get too anxious and can't access the box breathing, which can sometimes happen to me, just breathing in and then exhaling a little bit longer. Again, not getting hung up on the timing, just inhaling through the nose, preferably, because there's beautiful things that happen in the nose, and then exhaling through the nose. It'll tap right into that. Somebody's saying oxygen can make you feel light and tingling, but it feels great during and after the breath session. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really, really does. Thank you for that. If you're looking for energy, you might want to try the circular breath. And even just a few rounds of circular breath can bring up the energy, can bring up your chi and get you going. So if you're feeling a little tired and you don't have time for a cup of coffee, try that. Not while driving, just in case, but always you can do that. I've done that walking down the street on my way to go in somewhere where I need a little pick-me-up. Any questions, other comments? Yeah. Well, I want to thank The Shift for having me. I want to thank you. I also want to thank Michael Malura Music for the music. I hope you were able to hear it. If you weren't able to hear it, that's on me, not The Shift, my technology. You should definitely check it out. Hopefully, I think we can maybe post to Michael Malura's music so that you can check it out. It's just beautiful. I also want to, just thank you and let you know that the shift has a few things coming up, as do I. You can find me at thefullymindful.com. I'm there on Instagram. I'm there on my website. You can find, again, thefullymindful.com. I've got live online breathwork sessions. I do retreats. I do one-on-ones. This month, September, is Suicide Prevention Month. And this Thursday, September 4th at 3 p.m. Pacific, there's a live shift starter conversation also here on this same IG Live with Promise to Live. It's a suicide awareness organization started by a mother who has saved lives with a simple gesture. So that's going to be really compelling. Please show up for that. And next Tuesday's shift session at the same time, so every Tuesday, is actually talking about suicide and shifting our relationship to that. So there will be some tools and practices that you can take away from that. And that's going to be presented by Elizabeth Stevens from NAMI Westside LA. It's going to be really, really good and a really important topic. And you can find all of this on theshift.com/events. And just want to thank everybody for being here and for joining me, for diving in and being willing to try out some new breath work. And I hope to see you all again soon.